Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Vince. Today I'm going to look at the book How Jesus Became God by Bart Ehrman. Generally when I look at a book, I'll make two videos. I'll make like a 5-minute summary, and then if you really enjoy that, you can go and look at the longer video. So I've already made the longer video, and now I'm working on the 5-minute summary. I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't really make myself a checklist for this one or anything, so this may not be my best video at all. I may ramble a whole lot, but I'll do it in 5 minutes. And I think I can give you a pretty good summary of this book. Okay, so what Ehrman is trying to do here is he's trying to say, when did Christians start to think of Jesus as God? He is not saying, when did Jesus actually become God? Or was Jesus actually God? Like, those things are outside of the realm of history. He is wondering, how did Jesus become to be thought of as the God that Christians think of him as today? And this is a little bit different than the way that we might think of it, because to us, we have humans here and God is here. And so there's this dividing line. To the ancients, he explains that humans are here, but it's more like a pyramid, to where it goes humans, and then you might get like the emperor kinds of gods, you might get like these demiurges or something like that. But anyway, there's a long pyramid up to the God. And so he's not just wondering, when did Jesus get exalted to that next level, but when did he actually make it up to the top? And what he says is that he starts off here as a human. And if you read through the Gospels, especially the most historical stuff that we have, suggests that Jesus was human, and he did not think of himself as God. And then, but once he got resurrected from the grave, or at least when his followers started to think he was resurrected from the grave, they had these visions that Jesus was resurrected from the grave. They started thinking, oh my goodness, God adopted him through that process and made him into a deity. So now he's on that lower rung. Well, this view evolved so that from our earliest sources, that's what looks like that's what they believed. In our pre-Pauline traditions, it looks like they were saying God exalted Jesus up to this lowest rung. Okay, but then in Mark, you actually get that adoption pulled back a little bit. Jesus is actually adopted at his baptism, and that's what it looks like in the Gospel of Mark. In Matthew and Luke, which come a little bit later, Jesus is not adopted anymore. He is actually God from birth. So they have these birth narratives, and like Matthew says, God is with us in Jesus. So God is present in Jesus from his birth. Then later you have the Gospel of John that's written, and it says, that's had this really high Christology where Jesus is now God from the beginning, right? He's pre-existent. So in the beginning was the Word was with God, the Word was a God. Now we've even pushed it further back. It's a pre-existent theology. Can we go any further back than that? Well, Ehrman says, yeah, of course. So that's what the Council of Nicaea is about. Nicaea's, their big question was there ever a time when God was and Jesus was not? Like, did God create Jesus somehow? Did Jesus emanate out of God, or what happened? And what Nicaea came to say is, no, they are the same. There was never a time when there is God but not Jesus. So now Jesus is God. And so that's basically the answer to the book. When did Jesus become God? Well, it happened in steps, but it fully happened at Nicaea. That's when they began to say he is one and the same as God. The biggest point that I pointed out in the longer video, and I want to point out here, is, and Ehrman's big point he's trying to make is that this is the view that eventually becomes orthodox. This is not what all Christians believe. All Christians throughout time have fought over this. Every step of the way of what I just said was fought about. Right? So Christians never agreed completely that that Jesus is God, pre-existent, from eternal, that there is such a thing as a Trinity or not. And the reason I point this out, and I think it's something that everybody should take note of, is because the people who eventually, who had the views that eventually became orthodox, were the people who were sponsored by the state. They were the people in power. They were the people who had the money. And so I think there's a really good argument to be made here, and I think Ehrman would agree with me, that those who truly held the views of Jesus about giving up your powerlessness, about humbling yourself, about giving money to the poor, and about the dangers of money, were really the ones who were condemned as heretics. Anyway, I thought that was a really good food for thought. If you like this short video, check out the longer one. If you like to hear summaries of books, check out my page.